There are a few great promotions going on right now, and so many of them focus on FlyingBlue. So today we are talking about flying to Europe for less than 5,000 points, what to do if you don't have many points yet, how to fast track your status, and so much more. And in case we haven't met, hello, my name is Julia. I am the founder of GeoBreeze Travel, and I personally get about $100,000 worth of travel every year for about 90% off by using points and miles. We typically save our clients more than $30,000 in travel in the first 6 months of working with our team, and we want to provide you with a clear path to luxury travel with these free step-by-step tutorials too. So let's jump right in. The first deal that we're going to talk about is the Air France FlyingBlue Promo Awards. I recommend just Googling this every month because they come out with different new promotional routes every month where you can fly to France or Amsterdam starting at about 15,000 points in economy or less than 40,000 points per person one way in business. So when you Google Air France FlyingBlue Promo Awards, just scroll down until you see that exact title, FlyingBlue Promo Rewards, and it will take you to Air France's website, where you can then see all of the top promo reward tickets and what cities they want to highlight that particular month. So for this month, there's a lot of short haul within Europe, but also we probably want to look at long haul flights because based off of the viewership statistics, most people who watch this channel are in North America. So there's a lot between Europe and Montreal, Toronto, New York, Portland, Oregon. So you can fly all the way from the West Coast to Amsterdam for only 15,000 miles. If you want to cross between France and Japan, you can do that. There's a lot between France and Africa, Brazil, China, lots of cities that they are highlighting. And especially for business class, if you scroll down further, you can fly between Europe and Cairo for 37.5 thousand points, Europe and Edmonton, which is all the way on the western side of Canada, Ottawa, Fort Laza. So there's a lot of places you can go. And to find the best deals for this, I like to use seats.aero. Click on Explore, scroll down until you hit Air France KLM FlyingBlue. Then I usually just say from North America to anywhere. I have the Pro version, so I search the full year, and then I search by either economy lowest or business class lowest, depending on what you want to do. If you want some of those 15,000 point flights, just click on economy lowest, and then you'll see you could fly from Toronto to Amsterdam, Montreal to Paris, Toronto to Amsterdam, Boston to Amsterdam. And if you wanted to filter down just to the US airports, I don't think there's a quick way to do this. So we just kind of have to do this by hand, where you checkbox all of the different airports that you would be okay flying from. And what we notice here is that it's usually not during peak season where a lot of people want to go to France in the summertime. But if we're searching for 2025 in June, it's going to be at least 20,000 points. Same with July, same with August, but 20,000 points is not bad at all to fly from the US over to Amsterdam or Paris, especially in peak season. But if you're okay with flying in February, March, or April, then it's only going to be 15,000 points. For business class, you can sort by business class lowest, and this winter you can fly for 50,000 points per person one way as the starting price for business class from cities like Detroit, Washington, D.C., Raleigh, Durham, Las Vegas, Austin. So there's a lot of cities where they might even be smaller cities where you would think that you would have to do a positioning flight, but you can fly direct from Las Vegas or Austin over into Amsterdam for only 50,000 points per person. And they usually will have multiple seats available. Like this one has 7 seats. This is 6 seats from Raleigh over to France. And this is surprising, this is also in peak season in July, so you could jump on something like this. However, if you want to get the really, really good deals, then you might need to brave the cold and do a positioning flight up to Canada because they're really targeting the Canadian markets lately. You see that with Ottawa and with Edmonton and with Montreal and Toronto. There are a lot more flight deals available for 37.5 thousand points. There are 8 seats available for this one in business class, 4 seats, 9 seats, 6 seats. So if you have a large family and not a ton of points, but enough to where you want to fly business class, if you can be flexible and fly in the winter time, maybe spend Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve or something over in Europe, and you're okay with positioning to Ottawa first before going, you can get your entire family onto this business class flight for not a ton of points. Are you enjoying these types of videos? If yes, please let me know. Click that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for even more points and miles tips every week. And if you have a specific destination that you would like to visit, you can request a free personalized tutorial by going to geobreezetravel.com/request. These tutorials are specific to your exact airports, dates, and destinations, and we produce one free tutorial every week through the GeoBreeze Travel newsletter, which is also free. Next up, let's talk about how you can get more than 50% off of the price of flights, even if you don't have any points yet. The next Air France deal that I want to cover is the one where they have points on sale until December 19, 2024. And so you can get up to 45% off when you're purchasing points. So let's look at this deal that we just covered. Let's say that you want to fly this really good deal from Canada over to France. It's less than 38,000 points. There's a ton of availability, but you currently have no points. Like, everything will transfer over to Air France. You've got Chase, Amex, Capital One, Citi, Bilt. Everything transfers to Air France. But let's say you just started and you've got nothing. You could just buy the points, because when you Google Air France, FlyingBlue, purchase points, you'll make an Air France account, log in, and you'll be taken to this page. And then it'll ask how many miles you want to buy. You do need to round up. So let's say that you wanted to buy 38,000 miles for this ticket, which would normally cost $37,500. 38,000 miles would normally be about $1,200, but since there's a discount, you can just buy the points for $637. So if you would consider a business class ticket in a lay flat seat from Ottawa to Paris, which is approximately a 7-hour lay flat flight, for $637 a good deal, then you could just buy the points. They'll be instantly deposited into your Air France account, and then you can book your ticket from there. Alternatively, if you wanted to book one of these Saver Awards with economy, where it's only $15,000, then you would need to round up and get 16,000 points, and it would be less than $300. So if you're like, yeah, I'll fly to France for less than $300 in economy, that's a good deal, then you can go ahead and buy those points and go ahead and flip them for this economy ticket. For comparison of how much you're saving, let's look up this one on Google Flights. Toronto over to Amsterdam one way in May 2025. It looks like this would normally be a $733 ticket. So instead of spending $733, you can buy that same ticket for a little under half the price. So even if you don't want to open any credit cards, you don't want to collect any points, or especially if you are an international person where you don't have access to US credit cards, buying points like this where you just buy $300 worth of points and then use it to buy a $700 ticket, or you do that at scale with lots of tickets or business class tickets, that is another strategy for how you can play this game without opening up tons and tons of different credit cards. Quick note, I recorded all of these tutorials, of course, right before Chase announced a transfer bonus over to Air France. So if you have Chase points with a card like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, Chase Sapphire Reserve, or Chase Ink Business Preferred, you can enjoy a 20% transfer bonus from Chase over to Air France, KLM, FlyingBlue through January 15, 2025. If you are in the market for a new card to earn points or status, but you're not sure what card to get, we offer free credit card consultations at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. We'll send you personalized recommendations based on your particular goals, budget, and lifestyle. Up next, let's talk about how you can fast track getting status with Air France and KLM, saving you thousands of dollars. The next promotion that I want to cover with FlyingBlue is the FlyingBlue Status Match. It's been available for a while, but they've recently opened it up to even more countries. And there's no current end date to this promotion published, but they can pull it at any time. So if you have use for status, or you're about to lose your status and want status with somebody, especially on SkyTeam, for 2025, this could be a great promotion for you. So all you need to do is Google FlyingBlue Status Match, click on the first thing, and it'll take you to this page, flyingblue.statusmatch.com, where it's pretty easy to apply. You just say your first name, last name, FlyingBlue account email address, which you need to create before you try to do a status match over to them, and your membership number. And then from there, if you are a resident of the United States or Mexico, it is $99 to match up to a silver status match, or $299 if you want to match to gold, which is a lot cheaper than what it would normally cost if you had to fly that much to get silver or gold status. Unfortunately, as Americans, we are not able to status match to the platinum tier, which is the tier that you need in order to book La Premiere with Air France. But you can match to platinum if you are a resident of the UK, then it's like £399. If you have residency in Canada or Austria, Belgium, Czech Republic, Denmark, Germany, Finland, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, or Switzerland. Or outside of that, there's also Costa Rica, Cuba, Ecuador, Egypt, India, Japan, Panama, Peru, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. If you have residency in any of those countries, then you can apply for a platinum status match. So what do you get with these? Assuming most US people would probably want to go for gold, then the nice exclusive benefits that you would get with those means that if you're ever paying for your flights with Air France, you would get 7 miles per euro. You would get SkyTeam Elite Plus status, which gets you priority check-in, priority security, you get priority boarding, extra baggage, you get lounge access, even if you are not flying in business class, and you get a lot more whenever you're flying with a SkyTeam partner. And that can be very helpful if you are flying like Delta business class or something domestically in the United States. You also can have early access to some of the nicer seats, like the ones that have more legroom or closer to the front of the plane. Or if you want to go for platinum status with Air France, if you take advantage of FlyingBlue Gold status, that will get you most of the way there. You would just need an additional 300 experience points to get FlyingBlue Platinum status from there. And if you want, there is the FlyingBlue credit card in the United States, which can help you earn this experience points or XPs as well. So, is it worth it to pay for a status match, given that most status matches that people are used to tend to be free? I would say it's worth it if you're actually going to use it, but this is why they put a little bit of a nominal fee on a lot of the status matches through statusmatch.com, is they only want people who are actually going to fly the airline. I have personally status matched to so many programs, especially cruise programs, that I have no intention of ever using. I just do it for the content. So if you actually do fly Delta and SkyTeam quite a bit, and you want international status with them, which can come in handy quite a bit, going for this status match could be a great move. If you're wondering what airline statuses will match over, pretty much everything. 1 Mile at a Time has a great article on this status match, and Aer Lingus, Air Canada, Air India, Alaska, American Airlines, I'm just going to scan through for the US ones, United will transfer over, JetBlue will transfer over. It looks like Southwest Airlines is the only major one that does not transfer over, and obviously Delta because it's already in the same alliance. But otherwise, if you're looking to get status with SkyTeam, like maybe you're losing your United or your American Airlines or Alaska status this year and you're not going to be able to renew it, this could be a good way to match over and retain some status from a status you already have. Our last walkthrough covers even more ways that you can travel to Europe in business class, this time for less than 5,000 points. And if you are interested in leveling up your points and miles game and getting even more free trips and upgrades, we have a couple of options for you. If you have a trip coming up where you would like to request a fast-track personalized tutorial, check out patreon.com/geobreezetravel. Through the Patreon, we can prepare step-by-step tutorials for you and also answer any questions that you have in our monthly live group coaching. And if you are looking to get even more free travel with points, and you are a business owner or individual who spends more than $100,000 per year on expenses, we typically save our clients somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000 in travel in the first 6 to 12 months of working with our team. If that sounds like something that you would be interested in, book a free intro chat with us at geobreezetravel.com/intro call to learn more. Okay, let's talk about the transfer bonus to Virgin Atlantic and how it's useful if you want to fly to France or Amsterdam. And the last deal that we're going to talk about today for how to get Air France or KLM flights for super cheap is to actually not book through Air France. What you want to do is take advantage of this Virgin Atlantic transfer bonus if you have Amex points. Because through December 31st, 2024, there is a 40% transfer bonus when you move points from Amex over to Virgin Atlantic. To find great deals that you can book through Virgin Atlantic and fly on Air France or KLM, I would go to seats.aero again, click on Explore, then click on Virgin Atlantic. I'm going to show the full year of availability with Pro, and here's the important part. Over here where it says Airlines, checkbox Air France, checkbox KLM. Technically, you can do this with whatever airlines you want to fly, but for today, we are focusing on these two. Now, for economy, click on this down arrow, and you'll see that you can fly from the east coast of the US or Canada over to London for about 6,000 points. A lot of these are going to be with Virgin Atlantic Metal, and sometimes it will be a bit more if you wanted to fly with Air France or KLM, then it's about 12,000 points because it crosses through. But if you wanted to fly to Paris, it's about 12,000 points. Amsterdam, 12,000 points here. So it's already less than the 15,000 on the promotional fares we saw with Air France and KLM. And once you take into account the transfer bonus, then it's like you only need to move over 9,000 points to fly one way because you need to round up, or about 18,000 points for a round trip flight. So that is a pretty good deal in economy. And then if you wanted to do this in business class, you'll find some really great deals here as well. Like here, you can fly between Miami and PTP. I had to actually Google where this was. It's in the Caribbean. This is in Guadalupe, where if we zoom out, it is in the Caribbean, kind of near St. Kitts, kind of near Martinique, Dominica, Antigua, Barbuda. So it is a 3 or 4 hour flight from Miami. 3 hours, 9,000 points plus $5.60 if you just wanted to do a quick hop. And that is before the transfer bonus. So keep in mind that with 9,000 points, that means you could fly round trip for only about 13,000 points, or one way would be just a little bit over 6,000 points, which is really good for a quick Caribbean getaway. That's an economy, and that's probably what I would do since it's such a short flight anyway. If you wanted to fly in business class, it's 30,000 points. It's with the Airbus A320, and based off of the images on Google, this is not a real business class seat. This is kind of what intra-Europe business class looks like, where they just block off the middle seat. I don't think this would be worth it for me personally to fly this in business class, but for a 3 hour flight in economy for 6,000 points, that is a pretty good deal. And let's say you don't want to fly from Havana, maybe you want to fly from JFK over to Charles de Gaulle, then it's only 37,000 points. This one does go through London, so most of your business class flight experience would be with Virgin Atlantic. It's very comparable. I've flown Virgin Atlantic business class and liked it, but you could get to France that way, and then it connects over to France. If you wanted to do this from Boston, similarly, it's going to connect through Virgin Atlantic. Here we do see some direct flights over to Amsterdam, especially from Toronto, and this is during high season in August as well. 58,500 points divided by 1.4, once we take into account the transfer bonus, means that you can fly for 42,000 points per person one way in business class operated by KLM. That is slightly more than the promotional fare we were seeing with Air France, where it was about 37,500. But if it's available during a certain day with Virgin Atlantic and for some reason not available that same day for a promotional fare directly with Air France, it could be better to book it this way and take advantage of the transfer bonus. So that's just a couple ways that you can take advantage of some Air France deals this month if you are looking to fly into Paris or Amsterdam or beyond, because you can take advantage of promo fares, points on sale, transfer bonuses, status matches, and a lot more. I hope you found these tutorials useful. Suggestions for future topics are always welcome. In the meantime, if you enjoyed these tutorials, I think you'll enjoy this video next.